Chandeliers blazed over a marble-pillared conference hall while an influential minister spoke with effortless poise. Isaac stood near the back, shoulder to shoulder with aides and diplomats. Halfway through the address, something snagged his gaze. The minister's left cheek pinched inward, then unfurled skin rippling as though a thin membrane slid beneath it. The glitch lasted no more than a blink. Applause rolled on, undisturbed. A bead of sweat tracked behind Isaac's ear, and he forced himself to breathe, unsure whether he'd witnessed a trick of the lights or the mask of something far from human. At dawn, Isaac sat alone beneath the newsroom's flickering fluorescent strips, scrubbing through last night's footage. The minister's address played back flawlessly with no ripple, no glitch, just a flawless smile. Maybe the stage lights fooled me, he thought, rubbing grit from his eyes. A co-worker paused at his desk, eyeing the screen. Next time, adjust the white balance. Spielberg, it will save you from phantom ripples, she joked, tapping the mug in her hand before drifting away. The following days, he was sent to cover an exclusive nighttime forum for global leaders. Isaac slipped among impeccably dressed dignitaries at the after-hours forum. Every handshake landed at the same precise angle. Every turn of a head matched the next as if an unseen conductor kept time. Under the amber hush of recessed decorative light fixture, ordinary chatter thinned to a furtive murmur, the air heavy with cologne and something faintly metallic. He jotted notes, adrenaline sparking in his veins. No overt deformity betrayed the crowd, but a pressure settled over him, thick as a velvet shroud, warning that whatever guided these leaders moved far beyond human choreography. After midnight, Isaac delves into obscure archives and whispered conspiracies, uncovering scattered reports of fleeting flesh anomalies among high-ranking officials across decades. Each case is dismissed as a camera glitch or hoax, yet the patterns are too consistent to ignore. Fabric-like tears in skin, unnaturally fluid movements, and transient lumps that vanish without a trace. A cold weight settles in his gut. If even a fraction of it is true, these leaders could be wearing some kind of mask. He switches off the lamp, his mind spiraling into darker possibilities. The next morning, Isaac marched into his editor's glass-walled office with a headline, "Uneasy Uniformities. Why our leaders move in lockstep." "Come back with hard evidence," the editor said, shoving the draft across the desk. A tremor in his voice hinted at something more than skepticism. Back in the bullpen, a reporter leaned over a cubicle wall. "Watch out for the lizard royals." That evening, while walking to his car in an underground garage, Isaac was approached by a man he recognized from the Pan-Atlantic Security Council. Their eyes flicked across every shadow as they spoke in a paper-thin whisper. "There are night meetings," they said. "Top ministers, doors locked. I heard sounds inside wet fabric sliding over bone. The smell afterwards like rotten copper. I couldn't shake it for days." A car door slammed somewhere above. The man jolted, then bolted for the exit. The following week, while investigating a rumor, Isaac slipped onto the grounds of a marble front estate. The garden hushed beneath lanterns that bled weak amber light. Peering through a slit in the curtains, he watched the assembled VIPs. Every gesture, every sip of champagne, every turn of the head moved with metronomic precision. At one unspoken cue, a dozen necks tilted right, as though an invisible baton had flicked. Heat wafted from the house, carrying the stink of hot metal and rancid meat curling in Isaac's throat. Sweat pricked his palms as he raised his phone to record, dread ticking louder with every second of footage. Isaac edged closer and peered through a half-open door. In the lamp's low glow, a senior official stepped away from the crowd. Folds of slack skin hung at the base of his neck, shivering like empty silk. A wet hiss drifted from the room. Isaac lurched back. When he dared another look, the flesh lay smooth and flawless. His gut lurched. He had glimpsed the thing beneath the mask. Isaac bolted down the corridor. The air reeked like meat left too long in the sun, clinging to his throat. Behind him, whispers scraped the wall's voices so deep they hummed more than spoke. He burst into the crisp night and doubled over, chest sawing for air, certain now that the dignitaries inside wore nothing human beneath their skin. At dawn, Isaac tried to upload the footage that showed the officials' sagging flesh. One by one, the files glitched, thumbnails fizzed with static, then blinked out as though eaten by digital rot. A sour metallic stench drifted from the camera, and the battery beneath his thumb throbbed with blistering heat. The progress bar vanished. The folder stood empty. Isaac sagged into his chair, knuckles white on the armrests. The night's horrors now locked inside his skull alone. Later that morning, Isaac cornered his editor with a new headline: leaders wearing hidden skins. The man's gaze flicked toward the glass doors of the bullpen, as though someone might be listening. "Drop it," he whispered, voice quivering. "They've shut us down from above. I can't protect you." A shine of unshed tears rimmed his eyes. Isaac walked out, pulse hammering, suddenly aware that even his once loyal newsroom was cowering before something far larger than any ordinary threat. At dusk, an anonymous text led Isaac to a shuttered riverside cafe, its neon sea stuttering on and off. A hooded stranger waited in the gloom between overturned chairs. "They wear us," the stranger rasped, pulling a sleeve back to reveal a smear of dried blood. I saw a suit half-peel draw muscle steaming in the night air. Their hands shook so hard the table rattled. Whole governments take orders from whatever writhes inside those skins. Isaac's breath snagged. The cloying scent of old espresso suddenly reeked of butcher shops. He clutched his recorder, realizing the world above wasn't ruled by people at all, but by something dressed in them. Determined, Isaac braved one last rumored gathering at a remote government compound. The moonless sky leached every trace of warmth. Frost glittered on the chain link as he slipped past a dozing guard. In the courtyard, a ring of world leaders swayed around a stone basin. Their voices rose in a throaty chant, and each note were vibrating Isaac's ribs. The reek of rotting meat surged over him, and he gagged behind his sleeve. With every refrain, the dignitaries' movements grew less human. Necks rolled too far. Shoulders shuddered like sacks of wet sand. A sheen of fluid pulsed beneath their collars, hinting at something shifting inside the borrowed flesh. Unsteady, Isaac crouched behind a stack of rust-flecked crates, angling his phone toward the courtyard. The chant cut off, every head snapped toward the shadows. The air hummed, as if a searchlight of thought swept across the compound. Panic ripped through him. He lunged for the service lane, lungs filling with a carrion-sweet stink that clung to the leader's borrowed skin. Under flickering security lights he ran, footsteps echoing like gunshots. Behind him, no pursuit came, only the scrape of inhuman voices resuming their secret litany, certain no mortal witness could matter. Isaac plunged into the tree-lined dark, the chant still pulsing in his bones. Near dawn, Isaac stumbled up the walkway, then froze. A half-circle of high-ranking officials waited on his porch, motionless as mannequins. In the pewter light, their suits bulged, seams twitching as though something wet beat beneath the fabric. The closest dignitary stepped forward and pinched his own cheek. With a soft, tearing rasp, he peeled the skin away, unzipping a slick sheath of flesh. Raw muscle shimmered underneath. The thing's eyeless mask glistened like wet marble. "We have worn you for centuries," it murmured, voice as cold as gravel. "Nations dance, and you never see the strings." Isaac's scream ripped through the doorland, was swallowed by the quiet street, leaving nothing but the slow, meaty rustle of suits sliding back into place.